The case you're looking at now, I've wanted to review in the past couple of months, but life happened and things apparently never go as planned. So today I'm once again taking a look at yet another Fractal Design case, and yes, this still is the same case manufacturer. This model goes by the name of Vector RS, comes with interesting sharp angles as well as a nice mix of glass and steel, and currently comes in at roughly $180 US. So today's case isn't that affordable, it is in fact part of the high-end range. But as we're used to from Fractal, the quality most of the time is outstanding. Apparently they're trying to go a bit of a different kind of route by going for a completely new design, at least for this brand. We were used to only the most minimalistic type of minimalism, if you will, but with this we are getting some pretty fresh modern elements. Slowly, however, it seems they're taking steps away from the classic design, what once made Fractal Design basically what they are today. This kind of move doesn't necessarily always have to be bad. Some will totally approve of it, others will get their pitchforks out, you know how it is. But right away, let me clarify, the old designs will not be replaced. You will still be able to buy such super sleek and elegant Define or Meshify cases in the future. This more or less is just an addition to the Define series, if you will. And this leads me to the following question: what exactly is new here with this case? By now I've had the chance to take a look at a whole bunch of Fractal Design cases, and there are some strong similarities between the Define R6, Define S2, Meshify S2, and Define S2 Vision RGB. So it's just the outer shell of today's Vector RS different, or have things changed too internally? And of course, is this case for you? When it comes to the design, you either love or hate it. I certainly do find it appealing. The idea behind it is pretty good actually, in my opinion, although I would have designed a few things a little differently. The front, for instance, can make a bit of a boring impression, but I definitely like it. That makes sense, since it's no secret I'm into these kind of artworks. What could potentially bother some of you is the angled top panel. Aesthetically it may look good, but even I know a few people out there that like putting objects onto their PC, even their furry little pet tiger in standby mode. While I personally hate placing things on top of a PC case, to each their own. So while it always comes down to one's preferences, I find this fresh, modern and yet still elegant design pretty well done. Out of the box, the Vector RS comes with the glass panel on the top. Included, thankfully, also is a ventilated top panel to allow for better airflow. Additionally, we also get a dust filter as well as a mounting bracket for fans and or radiators. Switching out the different top panels is a relatively simple procedure, it only takes a few steps. Now, since the case also features a Rgb lighting, a strip that goes along the front and top of the case, Fractal also kindly includes this neat little yet simple controller for that purpose. Those that have the possibility though can easily synchronize the lighting with one's motherboard. Once we take a closer look at the interior, we quickly realize there's a lot of room for hardware in there. But what also is clearly visible is the fact that the interior more or less has yet again been copied over, recycled if you will, from Fractal's previous highly successful models. And that isn't necessarily a bad thing, it's just nothing new. Just like the Define R6, today's Vector RS is a great candidate of a case if you plan on building yourself a server, or in general if you have or would like to install an army of mechanical hard drives. At this point I have to point out there are two different layouts we can go for. Out of the box, the main focus is on hard drives. A whopping 6 3.5-inch drives can easily be installed here, in total in theory up to 11, but those extra HDD trays have to be purchased separately. Now, if you decide to unscrew a couple of screws, which certainly can take a while, but no worries, everything is illustrated in great detail in the manual, you can easily push that HDD wall all the way back for better airflow. Additionally, it also makes for a more open look, something some of you prefer, I've heard. Anyway, with this open layout, you could still mount up to two 3.5-inch drives vertically to that wall. The usual 2 dedicated SSD mounting points can be found behind the motherboard tray, although you could also showcase the SSDs directly on the PSU shroud. Pre-installed are 3 quiet 140mm fans by Fractal Design. The fans intake fresh air through those ventilation holes on the front panel. We also do get dust filtering here. The filters can easily be removed for cleaning. Only once you take off the front panel, you get access to the long removable dust filter at the bottom. If you decide to go for the ventilated top cover, there's also a dust filter below that one. The dimensions already tell us half the story. From fans to radiators, long graphics cards, etc., you can really cram a lot into this case. At the top, for instance, there's room for up to a 360 or 420mm radiator, in the front up to a 360 or 280mm, on the rear 120, and at the bottom, in theory, you could also mount up to a 240 or 280mm radiator. In my opinion, a great addition is that Nexus Plus fan hub with support for up to 9 fans you can connect and control with just a single PWM cable. Now, since it's 2019 or 2020, depending on when this video goes live, besides the usual USB 3.0 ports, we also get a USB 3.1 Gen 2 Type-C port. Cathodes as well as rubber grommets for good, clean cable routing pretty much goes without saying when talking about Fractal Design. We really get good options to take care of the cable management, even though that really doesn't do much with my skills in that department. I guess I should start thinking about replacing my power supply so I don't have to hide as many cables anymore. Yep, you heard it. I'm blaming the PSU. Oh, what an evil person I am, right? And since more and more users start showcasing the pretty side of their graphics cards, the option for vertical GPU installation can almost be considered a must these days. This can easily be done with this case here, well, except for the fact we still need to purchase our own riser cable in order to do so. The build quality, as always with Fractal cases, is top-notch, something you, however, at a price of $180 should expect. One example being the push-to-lock mechanism for the side panels. I love that. As said before, a crazy amount of hardware can fit in here. We also have lots and lots of options for all kinds of builds, lots of flexibility given here. So the majority of buyers should end up happy. The fans are pretty quiet, and I have connected all those case fans to the Nexus Plus fan hub. Controlling the fan speed of all connected fans via a single PWM signal works like a charm. Also, I would even go this far and say the noise dampening with this Vector RS is pretty good too, actually. But then again, the manufacturer did focus a little on that too. In my opinion, the options we get here make it a great case for both air and liquid cooling. Although it's always debatable whether or not we still find those classic elements that pretty much shaped Fractal Design to what they are today, we also have to look at it this way. There comes a time a manufacturer simply has to move on a bit and try something new. That's innovation. Maybe we can expect to see some innovation for the interior for the next case too. Who knows? Because while I really can't complain about the current interior, I start getting the feeling the actual frame, the foundation more or less, gets recycled over and over again. But then again, there's the saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. This of course is a high-end case, so it's not something the average gamer would go out and buy. This is targeted towards PC hardware enthusiasts. So without the slightest doubt, the Fractal Design Vector RS sure does deserve my gold award. And thanks to you guys for watching. See you in the next one.